Hello and happy Tuesday, which is of course my book reviews day. And today I want to talk to you about two graphic novels, both by Neil Gaiman. Trollbridge, which is illustrated by Colleen Doran, and Likely Stories, which is adapted and illustrated by Mark Buckingham, both of which have been published by Dark Horse Books. I read both of these, both very quick reads, very short graphic novels, and I felt that I needed to showcase them both together because they both represent the good and the bad of graphic novel adaptations. So these are both based off of short stories by Neil Gaiman, which are featured in Smoke and Mirrors for Trollbridge and most of Likely Stories, but also Fragile Things has a couple short stories as well. And, well, they're both tiny. They're both slim, as you can see here. Trollbridge, just over 60 pages. Likely Stories, just 80 pages. Trollbridge is Neil Gaiman's take. Oh, they are both signed by him as well, which is pretty cool. Trollbridge is his take on the classic Three Billy Goats Gruff fairy tale featuring, a troll under the bridge, and in this case, it's Jack, the young man / boy / grown man who is growing up and continuously encounters this bridge troll throughout his life as he tries to outsmart the troll. Now, it's a coming-of-age story of sorts, and I don't want to spoil the ending, but, it's a classic twist on the it's a twist on a classic fairy tale, one of the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales, and it's very well done. As you can see, as I'm flipping through it, Colleen Doran has an incredible canvas to work with. You have beautiful it's going to be full page because the whole thing's a graphic novel, but you'll see entire pages devoted to what would otherwise be panels. There are some panels further on where you have splits. But you really get a chance for her artwork to shine, and it's stunning. I love it. It's very well done. On the other hand, you have Likely Stories, which is very verbose. So, Trollbridge is one single short story adaptation based on one single short story from Smoke and Mirrors. Or maybe it was Fragile Things. I feel like Trollbridge was Smoke and Mirrors, though. Likely Stories is 4 short stories plus an introduction, plus an epilogue. There's a lot in these 80 pages. This one is also signed by Neil Gaiman. Very cool. Very exciting. But it almost works against it. Having so much in it means that you are going to have these small little boxes where half of it is text. You're not going to have much room for artwork. Mark Buckingham is having to work within the confines of the page. And obviously there are some, like the introduction here, where you get little half page illustrations, half page work. But time after time, having so many stories in one collection is working against it. It's detrimental to the art form. Which is a shame, because you are getting 4 short stories. Like I said, there is an introduction and a conclusion to kind of bring them all together. But you do have a lot. Oh, I gotta be very wary where I can show you, because there is nudity in this graphic novel. That's another thing. You might think, oh, Trollbridge, that sounds like it's appropriate for kids. I would say neither of these are really appropriate for kids. Trollbridge, the short story in general has a description of the flaccid genitalia of the troll. Thankfully, that is not illustrated in Doran's work, but there's still very strong sexual undertone. Whereas Likely Stories is not safe for work. There's nudity in it in several of the short stories. It's very adult topics. You are getting 4 short stories for the price of 1. You have what is this one? Foreign Parts, which is about a man with a strange STD. Or as STI now. You have Feeders and Eaters, which is a man's experience with a strange woman who is obsessed with eating raw meat. You have Looking for the Girl, which is one I can not really show you because that one features the most nudity of all of them. It's a man's obsession with finding a model that he found in a Penthouse magazine. And there's Closing Time, which is a ghost story with a strange house, with a strange demonic knocker. But it's a childhood story. Both volumes do feature some little sketches in the back, which is really cool. Nice little addition. Buckingham's got a couple pages showing his work. Colleen Doran's got, I think, like one little page, one little spread maybe. Not even a spread. One little page showing some of her work. But yeah, I mean, Likely Stories, the stories themselves are great. I just feel like the art form is kind of wasted on them. This should have been twice as long. You should have been able to get 160 pages out of this, giving Buckingham more room to breathe, more room to actually illustrate and, flex a little bit here. Which, unfortunately, is why I think Likely Stories kind of suffers a bit. I mean, if you had to buy one of the two, I would say go with Trollbridge, because you're getting better use of the art form, better use of the full illustrations, and you're not feeling crammed or rushed in any way. I mean, the argument could be made that Likely Stories does give you more bang for your buck in terms of the stories themselves, but at that point, I would say, why don't you just go buy Fragile Things or Smoke and Mirrors, where one of Gaiman's other short story collections, where you can get the same stories and more stories for the same price. I mean, Likely Stories still does work decently with the illustrations. I mean, it didn't detract from it. I mean, it's better than just reading a chapbook with the 4 short stories, I suppose. But it didn't work quite as well as Trollbridge did. I had obtained both of these signed editions through the Golden Notebook bookstore out by New York City, which stocks a lot of signed Gaiman titles. I don't know if these two particular are still available signed, but check them out. Link in the description below for other Neil Gaiman titles so you can buy signed from them. So yeah, that is Trollbridge and Likely Stories, 2 graphic novel adaptations of Neil Gaiman's short stories. Thank you very much for watching. I do at least one book review a week, as well as plenty of unboxings between here and there, so please consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you around next time.